IPMNation.com.
Live from the Outpost Studios in Columbus, Ohio, you're listening to All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy. Brought to you by IPMNation.com. Get ready for the gong heard round the world.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This is not a drill.
All Natural Being. Warning, All Natural Being with Brian Brawdy is designed to shake your sense of self to the core.
It's full contact psychology with an empowering twist, a philosophical loofah for your soul.
For those of you not ready or comfortable releasing your inner superhuman, listener discretion is advised.
Here's your host,
Brian Brawdy.
Good evening. Welcome. We'll get to the new set here in just a minute, but welcome. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out for what is now the 400th episode. 400, big 400. The number one rated show here on IPMNation.com. You're into All Natural Being and the gong heard round the world. You can see it right here. Even though, as I said, we've changed the set. Right there, broadcast as it happens. Thanks to our good friends at Telestream's Wirecast, live from the new and hopefully improved Mortal Up Studios, where apparently we were going to go with everything just black and white. Here in the beautiful suburb of Columbus, Ohio, we broadcast directly to IPMNation.com, multicast over to Facebook, YouTube, allnaturalbeing.com. You get how it's going. Of course, over to the Brian Brawdy app as well. We're rebroadcasting on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. Greetings wherever you are, here in the garden of the mortals, the labyrinth of life itself, the ups and downs, the lefts, the rights, the pivots, the swerves, the flukes, the whims, the sheer havoc, the synchronicity, the serendipity of it all. Blind alleys and cul-de-sacs, sure, but never a dead end, not unless you and I decide to tap out. Better get rid of that mallet, someone will get hurt. Always putting your heart's highest priority top of the list. Always calling out your true wit, wisdom, and the wallop. I love this idea of this, the wallop of your inner whisper. Not some watered down, some tepid, some fragile version of you. The real you. The you that runs the table of life. No way that you're here to do anything less. You're here to out-brutal the brutal. That is the cut and shuffle that fate can deal you on a daily basis. And once and for all, bring your own bold. But before we hit it this evening, I'd like to give a shout out to the people joining us, as always. Our friends here in the United States and Canada, Mexico, the UK, those in Ecuador, our good friends, China, the Philippines, Brazil, India, Australia, Germany, Italy, and France, Nigeria, Turkey, Japan, Singapore, Thailand, Belgium, Sweden, Israel, South Africa. Always a pleasure. Egypt, Puerto Rico, Kenya, the Netherlands, Iran, Colombia, Greece, Ireland, Argentina, Peru, Austria, Poland, to those joining us from all over the globe. It really is great to have you with us, and I truly am fired up to be driving your bandwagon, to be riding shotgun if you're here, if you're taking us in on audio only, to be your virtual hitchhiker when you're out and about and on the go. Because I love riding shotgun. I love hanging out with you. So what do you say? What are we waiting for? Here's our opportunity to mortal up. Thank you, Lee, very much for the new bumper stickers. Mortal up, as the sign says, because I think it's time to love the way you think. It's time to be your all-natural being. It's time for you to bring your grit to the relentless, never-ending grip of life. So what do you say? Let's go kick in some doors. And as you may have guessed, we're going to get to our very special guest here in just a little bit, Derek Noel from Derek Noel Fitness. Checking in, getting me ready. 51, I think it's 51 days. I'll have Matt check. if he's still in the feed here. 51 days to our official Guinness World Record attempt for the longest call-in radio talk show. 51 days or thereabouts. So as a part of the 400th, I was talking to my good friend Lee. I was talking to Wayne. I was talking to a couple different people. And said, what would you think? We was talking to Henry. What would you think if we did a little bit of a spring cleaning? And we decided, okay, well, now I realize now when I look at it, there's a lot of font going on. So maybe we'll stop wearing the T-shirts. You'll have to let me know. And also, we're doing a little test, as you can tell on the TV screen. Do I like the Brian Brawdy in white, in blue, or in red? So we'll get to that. But we thought maybe we'd go ahead. The gong can't go anywhere, right? The gong's got to stay. So the gong's here. Got a new screen, some new technology, some new things going on, all in preparation for our 81 win. So we would love your opinion if you're like, oh, well, I missed some of the tchotchke stuff, as my wife calls it. Finger on the pulse. Calls it tchotchke stuff, right? Or some of the different things, the different iconography that I've collected in my travels, things that are important to me. But they said, oh, well, maybe we should just, pare that back a little bit and do a very broken down set. So before I hop here in the thread to say hello to everyone, before we bring in our guest for the evening, I'd like to know, give me an idea. Drop us a line. You have to do it on Twitter. It can be private if you like. You can send me an instant message. Tell me what you think of the new set. What do you like? What do you don't like? Too much font? Too much black and white? I've already gotten a critique. Someone doesn't like the light blue behind me. What are you going to do? All right, so let me jump here quickly into the thread. Jenny, thank you. Wayne, thank you. Alex, I was just bragging about Alex. Alex working hard. He is crafting an entire new website for us with an app and everything else. And he's just from A3 Innovation, just a really sharp guy. His team, crack staff, working hard at doing that. So, Alex, thank you so very much. Don't work too hard tonight. Don't forget, there's going to be a full red moon around midnight Eastern time. Kathy, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Jenny, woot, 400. Yes, ma'am. A long time since our first call, huh? Matt, thank you for joining us. Fresh off of our Sneak Speak, which we do every week, highlighting what's going on here on IPMNation.com. Very excited to do that with you, so thank you for sticking around and hanging out here in the thread. Marcellus, good evening. I typed the word chop block earlier, Marcellus. I can never type that word without thinking of you. Darren, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Lee, thank you so very much. I've been away for a spell. Darren, you have been away, but I would like to get your feel on what you think of this new set, Darren, if you have an opportunity. You got it. Lee, well, thank you very much for the excellent Mortal Up bumper stickers. If you're into one, a little bit of shameless advertising for me with the BrianBrody.com below it. But if you'd like a bumper sticker, let me know. I'll drop you one in the mail. Jennifer, good evening to you as well. Hold on. I've had a request. Darren says I want to hit the gong one more time. Let's do this. All right, my friend, there we go. Where is the monkey fist? I know. Well, now see, that's what we're talking about, Marcellus. You have to let me know what are those things that you'd like to see back in here. Like if you go, let me see if I can find it. See, I built some shelves this morning to accommodate them, but what if we put the monkey fist right up front here? Marcellus, that's a great point. Love it. The chop block. Yes, I know. A bit more color, please. Okay, Jennifer, thank you very much. Well, I think what we should do is have you send one of your beautiful pictures. I'll pick that up. A bit more color. That'll work. Thank you very much. I appreciate the critique. Once again, the new set is Weirdlee. Hashtag WEIRDLEE. Approved. But Jennifer says, I'd like a little more color. Great. Let's see what we can do with that. All right, let's go ahead and hot to it. We're just a minute away from our guest this evening. Remember, Derek Noel from Derek Noel Fitness, getting me ready, getting me together for this 81 to win, the run at the record, which I'm very excited about. Think about it. By St. Patrick's Day, I'll have the Guinness World Record. So I'm very excited about that. All right, so let's bring in, without further ado, to the 400th episode of All Natural Being here on IPM Nation. Let's say hello to Derek Noel. Derek, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Brian?
Oh, man. Well, I'm doing like an Irish jig, cross myself, do whatever, whenever the audio comes in. There you go. Thank you.
I got you.
You got me covered. I appreciate it. So give us an idea. Well, I'm in a new set, as you can tell. You're in a new set.
I am.
So give me an idea. Where are you at? Thank you for the jig. Where's Janice? Hello, Janice. Yeah, I know, right? I haven't seen her in a while, Marcellus. All right. So, Derek, give me an idea where you're at, what you got going on.
So right now, I actually decided that I needed to upgrade space, which I now have a ton of. So I am actually at where I normally work at right now, which is I don't know, should I say it?
Sure.
Sure. So I work as a coach. I'm actually a facility leader here at a Fit Body boot camp in Grand Blanc, Michigan.
Grand Blanc.
So,
all right.
Yep. So I got permission.
And it's called Fit Body Boot. If I could enter, it's called Fit Body Boot Camp. That's the name of the gym?
Yes.
Great. And they have a Facebook page, I would imagine.
Yes.
Yes, they do. Okay, but Fit Body Boot Camp, thank the people there very much for allowing you to come from there. And I should mention, you're coming live. This isn't taped.
I am.
Right? This is the
Not
400th
taped.
episode. If it had been the 415th episode, maybe tape. But not for the 400th. We're coming live. Thanks to our Cracker Jack staff. A guy you may know, Wayne Noel, Cracker Jack staff that handles all of our mobile productions. So if you happen to bump into Wayne, if you see him running around the gym, probably throwing some sandbags around. If you see him, please tell him we said thank you. Darren says, go blue.
Go blue.
Go blue. All right. There
Yeah,
you go.
go blue. Especially
Very
in basketball
cool.
right now. But
All right. So what are we up to, brother?
So I decided that I needed to upgrade some space. So I'm feeling
Groovy.
nice and cozy. I'm feeling right at home
Groovy.
because I
Groovy.
basically live here.
That's right.
Anyways.
No charge.
And if you want, I can actually give you a layout to see what I have. Hundreds
I
of people
would
every day work with.
love to see a layout of where you are.
All
I
right.
really would.
So
All joking aside. Yeah.
So I'm going to use my mysterious cameraman. I think we all know who that can be. And I'm
He
gonna
does say we travel. Oh, good. Yeah.
So I'm going to travel along with it. So
There you go.
right here,
Right.
we have,
It's good to point where you're headed for him, right?
Yes,
Just let
it
him know where you're headed. Okay.
So directly behind me right now, because this is audio only, I am standing over in one corner of the gym.
All right.
I have red, white, and blue, which is Fit Body Boot Camp's colors, because of America. And
Gotcha.
I also have a variety of resistance bands.
Okay.
I have a rig set up, which for those who don't know what a rig is, it's basically, if you've ever seen a gym that has the giant metal things that's basically a bunch of squat racks put together,
Yeah.
that's what a rig is. So we have a few barbells tucked in the corner. I have TRX, which are basically suspension handles,
Okay.
to be able to use your own body weight to manipulate and do some strength exercises. I'm jumping up and down
Sure.
on a hard floor.
What do you call those racks again, Derek?
Which racks?
The racks that are built, you say they look like squat racks. What's that called again?
They are called a rig for short.
A rig, because Lee Rowley wants to do a bit with orangutans. And I thought maybe those would be good for him to swing from. Yeah, you can show. There you go. Oh, man. See, now that I know this, we're going to have you jumping on those plates. I think people would love to see that. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I digress.
So, moving on down, we have plates, we have dumbbells. I'm not going to walk too far because I have my microphone.
Right, sure. That's what a cameraman's for.
Stability belts, that's what a tripod defense.
Right.
Some boxes, which I can actually probably share a video of me doing that.
right.
Over to the other side, this is a gymnastics mat, so if you were to fall, you have this. It's actually really good to be able to bounce
cool.
around.
Cool.
Some nice cozy socks. We have battle ropes, and then coming over here to the very end, we have sandbags and parallettes or equalizer bars.
I love those. I have those right here in my gym. Yeah.
And I believe I have you using them too.
Yeah, they just can't be decorations,
Exactly.
right? You got to be able to use them. All right, and now I like the Vanna White move. All right, let's go back to the vowels. Right. Oh, help me. All right, so that's a great tour, and it's just like a regular gym open to the public.
You actually require a membership here.
Oh, membership.
So-
Okay, great.
Yep.
Very cool.
Basically
All right, so
reserved for
what are we
people who
working
want-
on this evening? As you know, it's the 400th episode, but like I said, I wanted people to see you. I wanted them to see your facility, where you work, that kind of thing. What else you got in store for us this evening?
Well, I also need to do my weekly check-in with you to see how this
Yes.
past week has gone.
The week, I have to be honest with you. Old habits are hard for me to kick. So 4 times this week, I went out and I ran a 5K.
Okay.
So I just because I love to run that distance, right? So I go out, run a quick 5K. Now the 4th time this week, I decided to do something a little different where I would do a 400 and I'd walk back. I'd do another 400 fast as I could. Then I'd walk back. I'd do a third 400 fast as I could, walk back. That was my workout for the day.
That's an awesome workout, actually. Sprint workouts are really good.
Yeah, you know what? And there's some people, Derek, and I should ask you, some people say you should never do a 5K again. You should most certainly never run a 10K again, unless you're racing. You should be doing HIIT. What is that? High
intensity.
Yeah.
Interval training.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I actually love high intensity interval training. I do it myself because I am a fan of just lifting weights faster as opposed to spending an hour outside running.
Okay.
To be completely honest, it's all what you like to do. So I know you like to go out for long runs. I would never say don't do 5Ks anymore. You got to work with what you enjoy doing, because if you hate doing what you're doing, or if you go,
Sure.
man, I really want to go run a 5K, do it.
Can I tell you a part of what I think the attractiveness is to me? Derek, just to get you, when I run a 5K, I love these Audible, where you can get these books on tape. So what I'll do is I'll put a book on tape in, and then I just get lost in the book on tape. I get lost in listening to what I'm doing, and before I know it, I look down and I've been out. It's coming up on a 5K, and then I work a little bit towards the end to move it out to get into the time. So that for me is the big deal. That for me is, I think, why I enjoy it, because I feel like I'm double dipping. I have a heart rate monitor which vibrates whenever I go below the target heart rate, or go above for that matter. So I can zone out, listen to a book. The heart rate tells me if I'm not getting the workout that I want. So I realized this week, I think that's what I'm addicted to, right, is the ability. Can't do it on a bicycle. Next thing you know, you got an Uber driver hitting you, right? You got to pay attention to your signals. The sounds. Not Uber, I meant Lyft. I didn't even mean Lyft. I just meant regular driver driving down the street.
Yeah.
All right, so, but that's what I did this week. And then I loved working with the sandbag. And I have another question I have to ask you. When you use, what do you call those bars? There's 2 of them, and they're grips in the middle. Yours are yellow, mine are black. What are they called?
So there are 2 different names for them. You have parallettes, which is what they are known as in gymnastic circles.
Okay.
Usually they're a little bit taller, a little bit more sturdy. That's basically parallel bars is what you can think of them as.
Right.
These ones just happen to be adjustable, or they're called equalizer bars.
Equalizer bars. Can I tell you what happened? And it kind of weirded me out a little bit about it, but I knew I would talk to you tonight so you could help me. I'm doing the dips.
Yep.
And I wasn't quite paying attention, and one of the bars went out to the side.
So
how can I counter that?
Well,
other than being an idiot.
So first things first, when you're doing those, you want to make sure that when you're setting up, there's straight underneath you. So if you're standing I'll grab it.
Okay, then I'll put on your logo while you're busy running away. We're talking to Derek Noel from Derek Noel Fitness and getting some of his expertise, some of his insight into some of the things. Yeah, that's exactly what I use, Derek. So, and then the left one went out on me. Yeah, I'm back on you.
Yep, I'm making sure mysterious cameraman number 1 is on me as well.
He probably went for a 50-50. Double, sorry.
So what I've noticed is a lot of people will either set them a little bit too wide.
Okay.
So if I'm too wide and I'm doing something, all of a sudden.
Yes,
really
that's exactly what happened to me. Right.
So what you want to do when you set these up is you want to, wherever you are, you just want to stand up tall, and you want to be able to just reach straight down and grab them.
Okay. So almost up against your thighs.
Yep. So if you want, if you have to reach out a little bit to grab, they're a little bit too wide. So then if I'm right here, I can bring myself in. And for those who don't know what a dip is, especially on these, it is basically a really weird looking push-up.
Right. I love dips.
Then from here, I love dips. They're one of my favorite exercises. From here, Now, there's no stable. I'm trying to move these, and they're not moving right now.
Because you have them right up against your thighs.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I love that. And I have to tell you, just from all the years in martial arts, I love the sandbag.
Yes.
Like, I would never touch a kettlebell again, to be honest with you. I love those sandbags because you can grab them anywhere and just go, oh, you're reaching to get something off the shelf. Oh, you're going to swat a fly. And you can mirror your upper body or your lower body. You can do deadlifts with them, right? If you're just getting back into it. So I love the sandbags. So I did do some push-ups, not many crunches, only because I'm going to find some different ways. When I had the shunt, every time I would contract my core, it would send spinal fluid back up into my brain. So I'm still a little gun shy. Even though the shunt is out, I'm a little gun shy from doing them. So what I do is I put my arms in straps and I hang, and then I do leg lifts. So
leg lifts are awesome.
That's what I hit this week.
Yeah, that's good. And again, with those, so I think last week I talked about there's no one perfect way to do something. There are multiple different ways to do it. So shying away from those crunches, which also if you're doing them incorrectly, you can mess up your back. So hanging leg raises, it's a lot harder to do that. So that's a good choice. I actually want to go back to when you were talking about Audible, when you were doing your runs real quick too.
Right, please. Go right ahead, you're the boss.
A fun fact about that is when you are doing a physical activity or directly after you're doing a physical activity, just like you want to eat after that to help your body recover and build, your mind actually kind of opens up and you're more receptive to learning new things in that same space. So it works really well. One of the ways that I do cardio, by the way, is I'll actually do walking lunges for 10 or 15 minutes at a time.
Okay.
Because it's just tough enough for me to have to struggle through it, but it's not intense enough. Because if I'm running, to be honest, I'm not listening to anything. I'm just in my head. I'm going, I just want to finish this. I just want to be done. I just want to be done. But if I'm doing that, then I can focus on what I'm listening to and really take it in. So
Derek, would you mind quickly showing us a walking lunge? Just for people that, I know we can move the camera a little bit. Can you show us what a walking lunge would look like for those people that may not be familiar with it? And make sure that I'm doing it right as well.
So I think we can see the ground. So walking lunge, I'm taking a step forward and I'm lowering my back knee down to the ground basically.
Oh, okay.
Driving right through that front leg and then going right into that other leg.
Other way.
So you're just alternating legs. It's a really awkward way to walk, basically.
Okay, gotcha.
But it is awesome for your legs. If you have knee issues, depending on the range of motion that you use, so don't go down as far if you have knee issues.
Okay.
But, and even then, when it comes to your knees, consult your doctor, physical therapist, someone actually qualified to treat those things. But walking lunges really helps build strength in the front of your legs, the back of your legs, and your butt, and it helps build tendon and ligament strength in those knees too. So it's a really good way for injury prevention if you don't have injured knees already.
Now, you mentioned something earlier that I'd like to get you to expand on. Some people say you should eat carbs right after your workout. You shouldn't eat carbs at all. You should have protein right after your workout. What's the best post-workout food or drink or something that you should use to get that glycogen back in your muscles as quickly as possible?
So glycogen is essentially glucose stored in your muscles, and glucose is sugar. So your body likes to work off of carbohydrates. That being said, I'm going to say, and again, it's the most fitnessy answer ever, it depends.
Okay.
Because if you are following something like ketosis, which is an entire other episode, by the way, talking about the pros and cons of ketosis, so I'm not going into that here. But if you
hold on, brother. Did you say the problems with ketosis or the
pros and cons?
So let's do that next week because then we can tease it. Is that cool with you? Next week. How would that be? Let's do the pros and cons of ketosis.
How about we expand that and we go the pros and cons of insert your diet here?
Great.
Because there's a lot. There's a lot for all of them.
Okay, groovy. We'll tease that for next week's show. That's perfect.
Sounds good. But anyways, so if you are doing a keto diet and you eat carbohydrates after your workout, you're going to kick yourself out of ketosis because your body has carbohydrates and it wants to use those. But if you are not following ketosis, your post-workout meal almost always should be protein and carbohydrates with no fat or as little fat as you can. Because realistically, if you are eating a meat diet, so if you eat meat in your diet, there's going to be a little bit of fat there technically. If you're on a plant-based diet, there may or may not be, depending on what plant you're getting your protein from.
Okay. Very cool. What else would you like to add to that? I mean, in terms of hydration, more fluid, less fluid, do you wait an hour? How does that all work?
So hydration should be an all-day thing. It shouldn't necessarily be a only working out thing.
Gotcha.
You want to aim for a general, and I say this with a grain of salt, but a generally accepted number is half of your body weight in ounces of water. So I weigh 180 pounds.
Me too.
I should be drinking 90 ounces of water a day, which sounds like a lot.
Apparently, if you do the math, I should be drinking a small swimming pool.
Yeah, I mean,
oh, there you go.
That's what they say. But basically, if you're not an athlete, which a lot of people are not, drink when you're thirsty, and don't drink pop. Obviously, it's easy for me to say don't drink pop, but people get seriously addicted to that stuff. Coffee doesn't really count. Tea kind of counts, but if there's caffeine in it, caffeine is a slight dehydration agent. It's a slight diuretic. That's what it is.
Diuretic, sure.
So those things you don't really want to count in your water totals, but a lot of people will go, oh my God, 90 ounces of water. That's almost a gallon. Until you realize it's like 6 or 7 bottles throughout the entire day.
Right. If you spread it out. Gotcha.
Yes.
Very cool. All right, my friend, I promised we wouldn't hold you past the 20-minute mark, and we've gone a little bit over, but give me an idea of how folks can get a hold of you, your Facebook page, that kind of thing, and the like before we get ready to wrap it up.
So you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/TheDerekNoel or on Instagram at TheDerekNoel as well. Those are the two easiest ways to find me. You can even reach out to me, send me a DM, slide into my DMs, I think is what everyone is saying these days. But you can
is that it? Slide into my DMs?
I think that's what the kids are saying these days. If you send me a message, I will respond to you. I respond to every single person that sends me a message.
Thank you, sir.
You don't need to pay me to just ask me a question. I'm not ridiculous like that. But yeah, I'm a pretty easy person to talk to when it comes to this stuff. So.
All right, brother. Well, thank you. And then what we'll do is I'll wait for the email. You all should know that Derek sends me an email right after the show going, okay, Brad, there's what we're going to focus on. And then we'll look to next week, talk about ketosis, the pros, the cons, or what's your diet, what you're doing, and we'll tease that for next week's show. But thank you for coming to us live. Name of the gym again, please?
Grand Blanc Fit Body Boot Camp in Grand Blanc, Michigan.
In Grand Blanc, Michigan. Fit Body Boot Camp. Please thank everyone there as well. And we will see you next week. All right, Derek, thanks again for everything, brother.
Thank you.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. Don't forget. Wade's looking at me now going, you got to clear it. We're still in the running for the official 10th of the Guinness World Records. All Natural being the longest live call-in radio talk show. A special thanks to Lee Rowley, who's writing. Oh, and also to Alex. A special thanks as well, Alex McDowell over at A3 Innovation for everything they're doing to craft that. But if you'd like to call in, or if you'd like to, even if you have a story that you want to share with us, we're taking some invitations for that coming up here, probably starting this week. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. I will work on the monkey's fist. Darren says soda is poison. Absolutely agree. Let me say hello to Jennifer. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us here at All Natural Being. Please leave us your critique of the new set. We'll get the monkey fist, and we'll get that back in there since that was the first request. And thank you all so very much. Remember, between now and the very next time that we speak, which will be Tuesday, we're off tomorrow for Martin Luther King Day, the federal holiday. We'll see you back on Tuesday. And until then, remember to always mortal up. All right. You know what? I think we were going to do some out music, but we'll just go ahead and kill it this way. Good night, everybody. Thank you so very much for joining us here at All Natural Being.
IPMNation.com.